Hey everybody, welcome to JodoCast for some stuff. We've got things to talk about today, and
And we
we're
didn't invite Evan to do it.
yeah, we said, you know what, Evan, we're banishing you to Disney World, I think,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Eh,
They're. I know they're at Hollywood Studios tonight, according to some pictures Evan sent. I don't think they are necessary. Well, maybe they're going to Galaxy's Edge again, but I know they've already been there at least once. They made some lightsabers and shit.
Well, speaking of lightsabers and shit, um, the other day, EA and Lucasfilm Games announced new Star Wars titles in development, all of which are more or less from Respawn Entertainment, the people behind Titanfall, Apex Legends, and Jedi Fallen Order. Um, so we're going to talk about that. Maybe we'll talk about other stuff, video gamey as well, but that's the main news.
Yeah,
Um,
I guess let's get the least exciting one out of the way first, since it's the one we basically already knew was coming, and that's a Jedi Fallen Order sequel.
yeah, I mean, it's now like official, but we've all know everybody's known that's something they've been working on for a while.
Yeah,
Um, so I mean, that's exciting. I can't wait. I really like that one.
yeah. I mean, they do call
But
it the next title in the Star Wars Jedi franchise, so that implies that this one's going to be Star Wars Jedi Rising Order or something.
Star Wars Jedi Stagnant Order.
Star Wars
Uh,
Jedi Greasy Money.
yeah. You just play as Grease. It's actually the first. It's the whole first game, the same thing, but it's from Grease's point of view.
You just sit
You
in the
sit,
ship the whole
yeah. There's a few
time.
piloting things, but more for the most part, you just sit on the ship and like check your emails and stuff. Um,
You don't know. Maybe he is like having adventures. He's like chasing around that like that what was it, like a loth cat or some shit that gets on your ship
a
and like lives
bogling.
in the vents.
There's a bogling that
Oh
you can
yeah,
invite onto
that's
your
right.
ship.
He's like, you gotta like set traps and try and catch it and stuff. And
So, whoever Peter Hirschman is, game director, who's long and accomplished history with Star Wars, we should probably know who that is. Did he
he
work on he worked on some older Star Wars games,
yeah,
right?
he was at Lucas Arts for a while. And he's also worked on uh Call of Duty, some or not Call of Duty, a Medal of Honor series. Um, and yeah, I believe he was at LucasArts. I think kind of around the time of like Force Unleashed and stuff like that.
Okay, the beginning of the end of LucasArts.
Yeah, basically.
Well, he's apparently leading the development of Respawn's Star Wars first-person shooter that's coming out. Which, I mean, if anyone's gonna make a first-person shooter, I'd be happy to have it be Respawn. Um,
Yeah, I enjoy the shooting aspects of Apex. I do not enjoy the battle royale and
have
loot
you
stuff, but
played Titanfall 2?
I haven't. No, I've
Because
been
it's
meaning
really
to, but
good. It's very good. And that makes me excited. I would have rather had like a third person shooter,
yeah,
but
no, I was going to point out that they specifically said a first-person shooter, and that makes me
yeah,
feel
there is.
happy.
I mean, you can never tell with journalists or just people in general
Yeah,
because a lot of people call any game that has you being a gun person a first person shooter,
that's true.
but I'm gonna go ahead and take them at their word that it is a first person
Yeah.
shooter.
I mean, these
Uh,
weren't journalists. I mean, this is a press release from
yes,
EA.
yes. Um, and along with saying, okay, Respawn is getting a new first-person shooter Star Wars game, um, that basically means Battlefront 3 is never going to happen. Dice is done with that
Yeah,
stuff.
and
Which, okay,
nobody cares.
well, a lot of people care. I half care.
I I see this as an absolute win.
Well, wait till you find out that this it's a first person shooter where you just play as like a Jedi. You don't get any guns.
I mean,
I'm
it, it could be like there was an old what the heck was it? I used to have a game for my computer where I mean that's what it was. It was like a first person view of you, and it was like a you just had like swords and stuff. Um,
Oblivion.
oh no, it's much older than that. Um, but I mostly just remember it because like you could like hack goblins' arms off and stuff when you did it. It was a very silly combat,
Well,
really janky. But if it was like that, that'd be fine.
and then the other announcement was there is a new Star Wars strategy game being developed with a collaboration with a studio called Bit Reactor, which I think is new. This might
Yeah,
be their
it's
first
new.
thing.
It's I believe. I don't know if everybody is, but at least the the guy who's going to be heading the development at Bit Reactor, Greg Fortish, Forch. I don't know how you say that name. For it's kind of like vaguely like Germanic looking. You should be able to pronounce it, Joe.
Well, if I was going to assume it was pronounced, if it was a German name, it'd probably be Furch.
Um, but at any rate, he is a former Firaxis employee,
Uh,
and
did they do
I
Empire at
believe,
War?
huh?
Did Firaxis do Empire at War?
Uh, no, I don't think so. But they did. I mean, they've done a couple, at least one or two of the Civilization series. They've done some XCOM games.
Oh,
Um,
okay. Well, that's promising.
yeah. So yeah. And I know, and I believe this Greg Forge has primarily been involved with um, the XCOM series. So it could be something like that. I personally, I would prefer more of like a 4X style thing, like Civilization.
I was gonna say I've really never been into the XCOM style games except I played the hell out of Gears Tactics, which I loved. So if it's like that, then I'd be way down for it. I'm sure I'll play whatever it is, but it's been a lot longer than I've been interested in
Oh,
like
nice.
a
They did.
RTS or
They
anything
did
like that.
publish Sid Meier's Pirates,
Ah,
which, if you haven't played it ever, is a fantastic little game where you just cruise around the Caribbean on a pirate ship and shoot up other pirate ships. It's like if Sea of Thieves was fun, but you can't, you know, puke up all over your ship in Sid Meier's Pirates, which is sad.
um, so those two games I'm gonna expect are gonna be long ways off because if Respawn is making all three of these for more or less, that we know Fallen Order sequel has presumably been being worked on since the last one was completed,
Yeah,
but and might be coming out sooner than we think. But that's still a lot of projects for one studio to be doing. So I don't know. It's interesting, and it's like I guess if they were gonna dump all the Star Wars stuff on one studio, I'm happy it's Respawn. But also,
yeah.
like, you have a bunch of other studios, EA. They could do stuff too.
Yeah, I mean it's funny. Like we joked about how these other studios, like was it? I always forget if it's Ubisoft or Bethesda. that are supposed to be making some kind of open world.
That's Ubisoft.
Yeah, Ubisoft, and then there's another game out there that we're not going to talk about, um, and Hunters is
Yeah.
on its way very soon. It's like EA was like, oh, I guess that's right. We can make Star Wars games too. Maybe we should do that.
Yeah, instead of like putting out three over 10 years, we'll put out three in like 2 years.
Well, we'll see. I mean, remember when they first announced that they had the license, they they were like, "Yep, we're working on 3 games right now."
Yeah, we'll see
Like
if
like that was the announcement, and they put out one of those 3 games.
well, yeah, maybe these ones are just gonna stick with tradition and get canceled if, because there's not enough Chewbacca in it or something.
Well, I feel like of the 3, there's um the Jedi game is the most
So that's a
likely to
sure
come
bet.
out.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to continue the story of Cal Kestis, or because it's the Jedi series, really it could follow any Jedi and be set in any era? I mean, it could
It
be
would be
Star Wars Jedi uh, Starlight Beacon adventures and be set in the
that
High
would be
Republic.
cool. You could do that. I mean, it could be just about like Luke post Return of the Jedi or something. I would be very, very surprised if it didn't keep following the characters from the last game because everybody really likes those characters. I
And
think they're all
they did leave it really open ended at the end of the
right, and they
game
got a
for
new
sure.
friend at the end. Marin's on board. Who maybe you can play as Marin in some missions.
I'd be okay with that.
That'd be
I always I always felt like she was really underdeveloped in the game. Like she just kind of shows up at the end of the game, and then she's like, "I'm in your crew now," and you're like,
yeah,
"Okay," and that's like all that really happens with her.
yeah. I think we'll stick with the same characters. 'Cause, yeah, I think it'll follow that story. Um, as far as I keep thinking what would they would do with a first person shooter, and I feel like I'm gonna put my money on it's probably you play as a rebel, unless it's like Imperial Commando. I'd rather have at this point Rebel Commando. It's sort of like a spiritual successor where you play as a Rebel Commando
Mm.
doing like tie it in with Andor, be like, yeah, these guys do war crimes too.
I wouldn't mind seeing more of like yeah, I mean, especially if it's like say tied in with Andor, if it was more of a stealth shooter kind of thing.
Yeah, or like tactical or squad based, like maybe like a Rainbow Six
Yeah,
or the old Republic Commandos, or like the old what company not Company of Heroes, that's an RTS.
like
Brothers in
Rainbow.
Arms, I think it was called.
Yeah,
The World War II games, where you had like a squad system. Um, that would be fun. Just yeah, take Brothers in Arms, put the Rebel Star Wars skin on it, and just show. I don't know. I'm very curious about that.
mm.
How long it is? Will it have multiplayer?
Will it
Will it only be multiplayer?
will it star Kyle Katarn,
Yeah,
our traditional Star Wars FPS protagonist?
there'll be a guy named Kyle Katana. Um, what is there's definitely a bigger history of FPS games in Star Wars than there are strategy games because I can only think of Empire at War, Galactic Battlegrounds, and Rebellion.
Yeah.
I think that's about it.
Um, I mean, for FPSs, I mean, there's the Dark Forces series, and then there's the Battlefront series,
And then there's Republic Commando,
and Republic. Oh yeah, and Republic Commando too.
which isn't a series, but yeah, I think that's kind of about it there.
And
So
and really like the last few like the last couple Dark Forces games weren't really. I mean, you could use weapons like blasters and stuff instead of your lightsaber or force powers, because when you get your lightsaber, you're in third person mode in those
Yeah,
games. But like the very last one, like Jedi Academy, I don't. It's been so long since I played. I don't even remember
played it a few years ago for the first
if you
time.
even got a
If you
weapon
could use
besides a.
guns, if you could, I probably didn't bother because flipping around and cutting people up is fun.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, given their past with all they did was Battlefront, which are like let's revive an old popular thing, that could mean they could try and revive a Republic Commando or Dark Forces, but uh,
I mean, and even if it's
they
not
also saw their success with a brand new idea with Fallen Order.
Mhm.
So
Even if it wasn't Republic Commando, like a shooter, like the whole you know Clone Wars is just in general a good era to set an FPS in,
yeah,
because
I
you've got what the whole war last
think it's like 3 years.
4 years, 3 years. I mean that's a fair amount of time for and room for a lot of stories that you can tell in there.
Take the campaign of something like the campaign from the original Battlefront 2, where you followed the 501st through their career, but like make it first person, make it a lot more, because that game didn't have the story was just kind of like barely there in that campaign, and it was like fun enough at the time because you had Tamara Morrison like doing voiceover about war stuff. I don't know. I'm pretty excited about them. I don't expect we'll see any new updates on any of them except the Jedi series. I feel like we'll probably get something for that sooner rather than later. But I don't know if there's much else to talk about on those. We could probably go deeper into the history of the other Star Wars games in those genres, but I don't want to
Yeah,
do that right now.
yeah. I don't know. I just hope when we get they revamp the combat a little bit in Fallen Order or in the next Jedi game, because like it was okay, but it could have been a lot better. Like,
Yeah. The big thing I would ask for is a way to like calm down animals so
mm,
you don't have to murder wildlife all the time as a Jedi. Like you give that the option, but also maybe just be like able to do Jedi stuff where you go chill and then they chill. Because that was like 50% of the enemies in that game was just like local wildlife. I was
yeah.
like, oh,
I'd like to. Another thing I guess I'd like to see is to play up the Metroidvania aspects a little bit more in that. Because I know like that was talked up a lot at release. Like, oh, after you unlock these powers, then you can do and go all these so many more places and stuff. And it was like, yes, but no. It was
it
like,
was there was I think it was kind of a lot for a game of that scale, but not a lot for a game that you would normally call Metroidvania.
yeah. I mean, it felt like you would unlock a new power, and then there was like that one new secret room you could get to, and then you would unlock a new a color to paint BD.
Yeah,
you
that was
know,
about it.
um, I don't know, and I guess that's another thing is make the rewards for getting to those secret areas a little bit better. Like, um,
Yeah.
um,
Uh, well, maybe that's all we have for this discussion. We'll probably be talking about all of these a lot more in more detail down the line, but I think that's it for the quick kind of here's the news, here's what we think about it sort of deal.
yeah, yeah. I mean, as we learn more, we'll talk about it more. But for now, there's That's it.
Yeah, that's kind of about it. All right. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. See you around next time for stuff.